This is a letter to my ex-husband on what would have been our 13th anniversary. I know you were thinking about me today. Just like I am thinking about you, just like we have thought about each other every March 13th for the past 13 years, ever since the day we got married. Even though it has been 6 years now since you could still say that I belonged to you. I was on the phone with my dad last night, and we were talking about how, on this day in 1993, there was an infamous blizzard that tore a line of frozen devastation from the Gulf of Mexico all the way through to the east coast of the Atlantic Ocean. He asked if I remembered anything about it, and I did. I do. I remember it like all children remember such things, with fascination and horror. I remember it all like a dream. I remember how the snow piled up all around the outside of my childhood home, how I had never seen so much snow before or since, how it knocked out the power and it weighed down the pine trees until the limbs cracked and crashed to the ground like bodies falling from the clouds. I still remember the sounds. I remember how it felt. I remember the moment when an enormous pine tree fell on the house, how it was so big that it should have ripped the house in two, but instead it just cut a hole in the roof, like it wanted to let the snow through. Just like I used to poke holes in the lids of jars to let in the air for the bugs and the small wild animals that I used to try to keep as pets. I know that you tried to keep me like that. Like I was some shiny wild thing that you found, and you wanted me to make believe that I was tame enough to belong to you, and darling, I tried. You have to know that I tried. You have to know that I gave you everything I had to give, and it wasn't enough, and it was never going to be enough, because wild things cannot thrive in captivity. You cannot keep a force of nature in a jar. I am an icy hurricane. I am a volcano. I bring down mountains. I melt stone. And you wanted to hold me like a snow globe. Like I was something pretty and predictable that you could sit on a shelf and show off to your friends and family during the holidays. And I tried to contain myself like that for you. I gave you a decade of my life. You had more of me than anyone else. You were the only person in this whole entire world who will ever get to call me their wife. But I need you to listen to me now. I need you to hear me like you never could before. Listen to my words. I am not yours anymore. And I will never be yours again. I need you to leave me alone. I need you to stop telling people that I am going to come back to you, because you and me both know that that isn't true. We both know what you tried to make me do when I told you I wanted to leave you. We both know what violence that we were taught to visit upon wild things who got too brave and thought they could live too close to humans. We both know how you would rather see me dead than out here living wild and free and without you. And you must know how I gave you every precious part of me that I had to give, from my first kiss on our wedding day to everything else that night, and every night that you wanted me for the next 7 years. You have so many of my firsts, some given willingly, some not. We both know you never did know how to listen when I said no. How when we got married, I was just a scared kid who didn't know how to insist on what I did and did not want. I did not want this. I do not want you now, in any way, in any part of my life at all. I am sorry that I married you, even though I didn't want to. I am sorry that I wasn't able to insist upon my no. I am sorry that you still think you have a chance with me. I need you to hear me when I tell you that you don't. I need you to hear me when I tell you that we are over, and I need you to leave me alone. I need you to hear me when I tell you that I will literally fuck the Grim Reaper themselves before I ever let you touch me again. It's over, love. It's really, truly over. Let me go. Move on. Stop trying to catch me again, because you won't. And even if you ever did, we both know it would be against my will and I wouldn't survive. Just let me be what we once were. Let us be what we were. Once upon a time, let us have an end. Stop making me relive all the bad parts over and over again. Stop making me have to tell people what you did and why I had to leave and why I don't want you anywhere near me. Stop trying to resurrect the fantasy that you had with someone who doesn't live here anymore. That person that you married isn't even alive. You killed her. Or don't you remember? I am something else now. I am the flames that learned how to rage and burst into bloom after I escaped the suffocation that you called love. I am lust and pride and wrath and all the other deadly sins learning to dance and sing and find their place in the great game of being. So please, let what we were rest in peace. Let it melt away into memories like the snowman that we built on our first Christmas together. I had never seen snow on Christmas before that day. Back then, I thought that it was a sign of God's blessing on our lives. I hadn't yet learned how well and how often that gods like to lie. There is nothing here for you now. Nothing for you to consume or control. I am alive. I am wild. I am free. And you cannot have me.